Hello dear friends, welcome back to our literature class. Today let's learn a new lesson, the last lesson of the book Honeysuckle, the Banyan Tree, which is written by Ruskin Bond. Ruskin Bond was born on 19th May 1934. He is an Indian author of British descent. He lives with his adopted family in Lantur, Missouri, India. The Indian Council for Child Education has recognized his role in the growth of children's literature in India. He was awarded the Sahitya Akademi Award in 1992 for Our Trees Still Grow in Terra, his novel in English. He was awarded the Padma Shri in 1999 and the Padma Bhushan in 2014. Anyway, let's get into the chapter, The Banyan Tree. The Fight of the Cobra and the Mongoose is a classic drama often seen in India, and the outcome is largely the same. The mongoose is not immune to the venomous bite, but is faster and quicker in motion than the snake. The cobra assumes a posture of defense and attempts to reach the animal by a sweeping strike, but the quick-moving mongoose jumps out of reach and comes at the snake from another direction before the snake can get into striking position again. This constant movement tires and discourages the snake, and the mongoose is finally able to leap in close and bury its teeth in the snake's neck, usually severing the joints of its vertebrae. My dear friends, have you ever seen the fight of the cobra and the mongoose? Do you know, the mongooses are well known for their ability to fight and kill venomous snakes, particularly cobras. They are adept at such tasks due to their agility, thick coats, and specialized acetylcholine receptors. Acetylcholine means it's a compound which occurs throughout the nervous system, in which it functions as a neurotransmitter that render them resistant or immune to snake venom. But they are not truly immune to snake venom because they will die if they get bitten too much and get too much venom in their system. But they can kill snakes. How? Its technique is simple. They will dodge at the snake. The mongooses will move quickly and jumps out of reach and comes at the snake from another direction before the snake can get into striking position again. And this is dodging. Dodge means to move quickly to one side in order to avoid being hit by. To move quickly in order to avoid being hit, seen stopped, etc. To get away from or avoid in a skillful or dishonest way. Here the mongoose will dodge at the snake at ninja speed so that the snake is forced to strike repeatedly until it is tired. When the snake gets tired, it quickly drives in for the kill. It will bite snake's head and bury its teeth in the snake's neck, usually severing the joints of its vertebrae. Vertebrae are small bones forming the backbone. They protect and support the spinal cord. The singular is vertebra and the plural form is vertebrae. In this chapter, the author narrates an incident of a fight between a mongoose and a cobra that he witnessed as a young boy while sitting under a banyan tree at his grandparents' house. Anyway, let's see what's going to happen. So let's start the part 1. Though the house and grounds belonged to my grandparents, the magnificent old banyan tree, magnificent means marvelous or wonderful, old banyan tree was mine, chiefly because grandfather at 65 could no longer climb it. The author was at his grandparents' house and he claimed that the banyan tree belonged to him, though the house owner were his grandparents. He said so because his grandfather was 65 years old and was unable to climb the tree. See the next paragraph. Its spreading branches, which hung to the ground and took root again, forming a number of twisting passages, gave me endless pleasure. Among them were squirrels and snails and butterflies. The tree was older than the house, older than grandfather, as old as Dehradun itself. I could hide myself in its branches, behind thick green leaves, and spy means secret agent, on the world below. The author felt very happy and joyful to see the opened out branches of the tree used to hang from the tree in bunches to the ground. These roots had formed loops. Various animals like squirrels, snails, and butterflies were living in the turns of those loops. The tree was very old, older than the house and grandfather. It was as old as the city Dehradun. See the next paragraph. My first friend was a small grey squirrel. Arching his back and sniffing into the air, he seemed at first to resent, that means dislike, feel angry about my invasion that means invading a country or region with an armed force, invasion of his privacy. But when he found that I didn't arm myself with the catapult that means a forked stick with an elastic band fastened to the two prongs used by children or shooting small stones. You can see the picture. Catapult or air gun, he became friendly, and when I started bringing him pieces of cake and biscuit, he grew quite bold and was soon taking morsels that means small bits of food, from hand. Before long, he was delving into my pockets and helping himself to whatever he could find. He was a very young squirrel, and his friends and relatives probably thought him foolish and had strong for trusting a human. First of all, the author became friends with a small squirrel. He arched his back and smelt into the air. In the beginning, he didn't like the author's invasion into his privacy, but when realized that the author was not armed with anything to offend him or to attack him, he became friendly. Soon the author started bringing him tidbits of food like cakes and biscuits. The squirrel started eating small morsels from his hands. Very soon the squirrel started digging into the author's pockets for whatever he could find. He was a young squirrel, and his kin must have thought him to be a fool for trusting a human. See the next paragraph. In the spring, when the banyan tree was full of small red figs, birds of all kinds would flock into its branches. The red-bottomed bulbul, cheerful and greedy parrots, myna, and crows, squabbling, fighting over small things with one another. During the fig season, the banyan tree was the noisiest place in the garden. Fig season means the time when fig appeared. See, in the spring season, the banyan tree used to be in full bloom. It used to be full of small red figs. Different birds like bulbul, parrots, myna, and crows used to fight with each other over small things. Their voices together used to make the place noisy in the garden in the fig season. See the next paragraph. Halfway up the tree, I had built a crude platform. Crude means raw or primitive, where I would spend the afternoons when it was not too hot. I could read there, propping myself up, leaning against the tree with a cushion from the living room. Treasure Island, Huckleberry Finn, and The Story of Dr. Dolittle were some of the books that made up my banyan tree library. See, on the tree, the author had made a platform of primitive style. In the afternoon, when it was not very hot, he used to spend his time there. He had put a cushion there which he had picked from the drawing room and was able to read at his place while leaning against the tree. He had set up a small pre-library and the books that he read there were Treasure Island, Huckleberry Finn and the story of Dr. Dolittle. Have you read these stories? See the last paragraph of the part 1. When I didn't feel like reading, I could look down through the leaves at the world below. And on one particular afternoon, I had a grandstand view of that classic of the Indian wilds, a fight between a mongoose and a cobra. Grandstand view, that means a clear view from the best position. One day when he didn't feel like reading, he could look down through the leaves at the world below. That means he could look down from the tree. And on one particular afternoon, he saw something classic of the Indian wilds, a fight between a mongoose and a cobra. Let's move on to part 2. The warm breezes of approaching summer had sent everyone, including the gardener, into the house. I was feeling drowsy myself, wondering if I should go to the pond and have a swim with Ramu and the buffaloes, when I saw a huge black cobra gliding out of a clump of cactus. Gliding, that means sliding or moving smoothly. Clump, that means a bunch of cactus. At the same time, a mongoose emerged from the bushes and went straight for the cobra. Because of the hot summer, everyone was inside the house. The author was also feeling sleepy and lazy. Rather, he was deciding to visit the pond to swim with Ramu and the buffaloes when he noticed a cobra coming out of a clump of cactus and a mongoose from the bushes. The mongoose came out of the bushes and went straight to the cobra. What's going to happen? Let's see. In a clearing beneath the banyan tree in bright sunshine, they came face to face. The cobra knew only too well that the grey mongoose, 3 feet long, was a superb fighter, clever and aggressive. That means very enthusiastic, brilliant. But the cobra too was a skillful and experienced fighter. He could move swiftly, very fast, and strike with the speed to light. And the sax means it's a part of an animal or plant shaped like a bag. Behind his long sharp fangs means long sharp teeth, were full of deadly poison. It was to be a battle of champions. Both the cobra and the mongoose came before each other under the banyan tree. The cobra was well aware that the mongoose had superb fighting skills, but he himself was also an experienced fighter and had deadly poisonous long sharp teeth. Thus, it was a battle between two champs. Hissing defiance, that means rebellion, resistance. His forked tongue darting means moving quickly or suddenly. Darting in and out, the cobra raised 3 of his 6 feet off the ground and spread his broad spectacle hood. The mongoose bushed his tail. The long hair on his spine stood up, creating a hissing sound in its defiance, moving his tongue quickly in and out. The cobra raised itself from the ground and spread his hood to fight and attack. The mongoose also showed his readiness to fight by brushing his tail and raising his hair. Oh my God, who will win the battle? Though the combatants means participants in a fight, were unaware of my presence in the tree, they were soon made aware of the arrival of 2 other spectators. Spectators means those who watch a show or games, etc. One was a miner, the other was a jungle crow. They had seen these preparations for battle and had settled on the cactus to watch the outcome. Outcome means result. Had they been content only to watch, all would have been well with both of them. The participants in the fight were not aware of the other's presence in the tree, but two spectators, a myna and a crow, were noticing clearly. They witnessed everything and were settled on the cactus to watch the result, but they were not satisfied with just watching, rather they participated in the fight. Poor fellows, isn't it? The cobra stood on the defensive, means defending or protective, swaying slowly from side to side, trying to mesmerize the mongoose, to attract the mongoose into making a false move. But the mongoose knew the power of his opponent's glassy, unwinking eyes and refused to meet them. Instead, he fixed his gaze at a point just below the cobra's hood and opened the attack. See, the cobra was trying to spellbind the mongoose with his movements, but the mongoose was well aware of the power of its opponents. So he fixed his focus on attacking the cobra at a point just below the cobra's hood and started the attack. Okay, moving forward quickly until he was just within the cobra's reach, the mongoose made a pretended move to one side. Immediately, the cobra struck. His great hood came down so swiftly, so fast, that I thought nothing could save the mongoose, but the little fellow jumped neatly to one side and darted in as swiftly as the cobra, biting the snake on the back and darting away again out of reach. The mongoose made false, quick movements very close to the cobra. The cobra attacked and moved its hood down so quickly that it seemed the mongoose would not be saved. But this small creature was quick to jump and move on one side. It also bit the snake on its back and again moved away out of its reach. At the same moment that the cobra struck, the crow and the myna hurled themselves at him only to collide, means come into conflict heavily in midair. Shrieking insults at each other, they returned to the cactus plant. A few drops of blood glistened on the cobra's back, shone. The moment the cobra attacked, the crow and myna threw themselves at him to come into conflict. After making loud, short noises of attack, they came back to the cactus plant. Drops of blood were shining on the cobra's back. The cobra struck and missed. Again the mongoose sprang aside, jumped in and bit. Again the birds dived at the snake, bumped into each other instead, and returned shrieking to the safety of the cactus. The cobra attacked but missed it. The mongoose again jumped aside. The birds again tried to attack the cobra but were collided with each other. So they came back to the cactus crying. The third round followed the same course as the first, but with one dramatic difference. The crow and the myna, still determined to take part in the proceedings, dived at the cobra, but this time they missed each other as well as their mark. The myna flew on and reached its perch, but the crow tried to pull up in mid-air. Pull up, that means stop. Perch, that means settle. Pull up in mid-air and turn back. In the second that it took the bird to do this, the cobra whipped his head back. That means moved back suddenly. With great force, his snout thudding against the crow's body. Snout means the nose and the mouth of an animal. Here the third time again the birds tried to attack the cobra in the same manner. But this time there was a change. They didn't collide with each other. The myna flew back to its shelter, but the crow tried to continue the fight in the air and come back. In the second trial, the cobra also moved suddenly and attacked the crow with full force. I saw the bird flung nearly 20 feet across the garden. It fluttered about for a while, then lay still. The myna remained on the cactus plant, and when the snake and the mongoose returned to the fight, very wisely decided not to interfere again. The cobra was weakening, and the mongoose, walking fearlessly up to it, raised himself on his short legs, and with a lightning snap had the big snake by the snout. The cobra writhed and lashed about in a frightening manner. Writhed means to suffer keenly or to twist from or as if from pain or struggling. Lashed means to beat violently or sharply against, and even coiled itself about the mongoose, but to no avail, with no success. The little fellow hung grimly on until the snake had ceased to struggle. He then smelt along its quivering length, gripped it round the hood, and dragged it into the bushes. The author noticed the bird falling 20 feet away. It kept shaking its body for some time, but then it became still and died. The myna was on the cactus plant, and she didn't interfere in the fight after this. The cobra was weakened and defeated. The mongoose attacked fearlessly. It exhausted the cobra with its shrewd and fast attack moves and finally killed it. It caught the cobra from its hood and dragging it, pushed it into the bushes. The myna dropped cautiously to the ground, hopped about, peered into the bushes from a safe distance, and then, with a shrill cry of congratulation, flew away. Shrill cry, high-pitched cry. The myna fell down to the ground and hopping about she reached the bushes, giving a congratulatory, high-pitched sound, she flew away. Who won the battle? At last, our mongoose won the battle. So, my dear children, let's wind up today's class. This is a short story by Ruskin Bond about an exciting incident in his childhood in which he witnessed a fight between cobra and mongoose. If you have any experience like this, please share with your friends and enjoy yourselves. Hope you have enjoyed today's class. Let's wind up. See you again in the next class. Thank you.